Hello and welcome to another exclusive interview by Recovery Today Magazine at recoverytodaymagazine.com, where first and foremost, we're a magazine of hope. Whether you're considering addiction recovery for yourself or a loved one, or you're actively in recovery a short while or many, many years, you'll find information on all topics related to addiction, recovery, codependency, and living a happy, successful, sober life at Recovery Today. My name is Sherry Gaba. I'm the editor of Recovery Today and host of the Recovery Today Summit. And I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing another great guest today, Lou Gossett Jr. Lou Gossett Jr. is one of the most respected and beloved actors on stage, screen, and television, and is also an accomplished writer, producer, and director. Off-screen, he is a social activist, educator, and author dedicated to enriching the lives of others. Gossett has also received numerous honors throughout his illustrious career. He was the first African American to win the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his unforgettable performance as Drill Sergeant Emil Foley in An Officer and a Gentleman. Among his other awards are an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor for his portrayal of Fiddler in the groundbreaking ABC series Roots, a Golden Globe for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role for the Josephine Baker Story, and a Golden Globe for An Officer and a Gentleman. He has been nominated for 7 Primetime Emmy Awards, 3 Golden Globes, 1 Academy Award, 6 NAACP Images Awards, 2 Daytime Emmy Awards, and in 1992 received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He also received an Emmy for producing In His Father's Shoes. His film debut was in 1961 classic movie A Raisin in the Sun with Sidney Poitier. Other film credits include The Deep, Blue Chips, Daddy's Little Girls, Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married Too, Firewalker, Jaws 3D, Enemy Mine, and Iron Eagle, 1-4, Toy Soldiers, The Punisher, among many others. Television credits include Sadat, Extant, Madam Secretary, Boardwalk Empire, Family Guy, and ER, among dozens of others. Gossett is the author of the best-selling autobiography, An Actor and a Gentleman, in which he chronicles the challenges and triumphs of his 50-plus-year career. Gossett is recognized as much for his humanitarian efforts as he is for his accomplishments as an actor. In 2006, Gossett founded the Eracism Foundation, or E-Racism Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to eradicating racism. The foundation provides young adults with tools to live a radically diverse and culturally inclusive life. Programs focus on fostering cultural diversity, historical enrichment, education, and anti-violence initiatives. Gossett was born in Brooklyn and made his stage debut when he was 17 in Take a Giant Step, which was selected as one of the 10 best Broadway shows in 1953 by the New York Times. He has 2 adult sons, and after 30 years living in Malibu, California, he now resides in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Lou. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here today, Lou, and I know that your schedule is crazy busy. It took us a while to get this to happen. So tell me what made you decide to do the interview today?
Because of the effects that I'm having in my sharing in the alcoholism meetings around the world. I speak everywhere, or I attend everywhere I go. I've been the good fortune, the first thing you do is you find your people. And the good news is almost 40 million of us globally.
Yes.
And I'm thinking more in terms of it not being anonymous as much as it used to be when we used to hide in the alleys and the cells. It's now such a need for people for especially young people, to have some place to go and get some experience, strength, and hope, that the anonymous is not only just a word now.
So that's interesting. You say because of all the work you do in the 12-step community and spreading the word. And so I'm going to just kind of go I'm going to take my creative licensing. I'm going to kind of go in I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that the 12-step program has been watered down because of all the other things that people are doing today? You know, if you look at Instagram, there's so many young people putting out different programs. You know, I have this magazine. Like, what is your thinking about that?
I think the 12-step program is the rock bottom philosophy. And from there, it gets copied because of the mankind's mentality. We're going to get more of the same. So we do that, only we're going to change this, only we're going to change that. But that means we get in charge of something that is rock solid. And we get to a bottom of even that to realize that God is in charge 24/7. And it's our job to clear the passage on a daily basis to get that original inspiration from the one and only higher power. The others are watered down for one reason or another, so it's convenient for humans. But there's only one.
Beautiful.
Good and would if he was sought.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Is that pretty much what, I mean, you say it's the foundation. Is that what brought you to your knees? Like, did you end up at a meeting? Did you end up at treatment? What, maybe just tell us a little bit about your story. Not everybody.
Well, I ended up with my best friend, my disease stopped working completely. I got the best of everything you can have. And I took it as much as I possibly could. And it just didn't work. It's a very sad day when you get rid of when you lose your best friend who won't service you anymore. But then you look at the whole thing and you get into the program and you start from scratch and you realize that the only time it serviced you was the first time. And you've been trying to chase that first time for all these years, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. And it's very symbolic of mankind to get to rip somebody off or to win a war or whatever it is. You never get to that first feeling again. And then mankind starts to chase that feeling, only to come to a bottom.
And where do you get the feeling today, the spiritual feeling today? When do you most feel that feeling? Not that feeling, but the feeling of, you know, God's presence, your spiritual epiphanies and so forth.
Well, there's a phrase in every meeting: God could and would if he was sought. He's very there with his arms folded, waiting for you to seek him. And in order for you to get his proper message, we have these steps. That's daily. It's like having a marriage ceremony every morning to replay, because all we have is one day at a time. So every day, and it seems like an enormous thing to do. It turns out to be second nature these days.
How many years have you been doing this?
15 years.
Oh, yay. Yeah. And so that's even a better story, because I mean, I don't know if you want me to
It's okay, I'm ready to be here.
So you're saying 50s?
It should have been before, but I wound up in South Africa, and I heard about the greatest wines in the world. And the Merlot, Zinfandel, Rubicon, and it really was delicious. That second glass was terrible. And I'm sorry, but I would have had 29 years otherwise.
Okay.
So I had to be rigorously honest and say I took that glass of wine. It was after everything else but the wine.
Yeah. Okay. But I think it's important for two reasons. A, relapses can be, doesn't have to be part of the disease. And I think we need to be honest about that. And then the other part is that you got sober a second time already in your late 50s. And I think it's important to let people know it can happen whenever it happens.
Whenever it happens, there's no deadline, you know. The process, as I told, especially young people, because they think it's over. The fun is over. I can identify with that sad feeling when your best friend no longer is your best friend, because that's all you got. But the disease is so clever. They've gotten rid of everybody who should be your best friend, and everything that should be the best thing you're thinking. It's just you and it. And that's the bottom. It's just you and your disease. And if your disease fails you and you're lost, and then you need your first step. You're going toward 12. You need your first step to come up with the conclusion that that's it. It no longer works. I need to stop because it's more powerful than me. You start progressing through the steps to the 12th to make a return.
Beautifully said. You know, when you said it was your best friend, I don't know, I've never asked this question, but it kind of hit me. Do you feel you abandoned your best friend, or your best friend abandoned you, or that it was just time to let go?
I guess it was a multiple bunch of feelings. As I was angry because once again, my best friends have left me. My best friends had left me anyway because I wasn't communicating.
Yeah.
But it was just, I had to write a letter in rehab. I had to write it 17 times before I convinced people that I meant it. A goodbye letter, a farewell letter. And then when you get in that farewell letter, and that first step, to write that farewell letter, you realize how many things you gave away to that disease, so that when it stops working, you are devastated. So I thought I had reached the bottom. That was the bottom. The bottom was completely emotionally and spiritually bankrupt.
Mm.
Then you say goodbye. You really mean it, but you're sad.
So you lose parts of yourself in the disease. And so what were the parts that you think you were either hiding from, or, you know, we talk about, you know, trauma, we talk about, some people just say, I just like getting high. But I mean, what do you think it was covering up, or what were you self-medicating, do you think?
It was covering up inadequacies and cleverness. I just was a part of a crowd. It was hip. It was hip. It was fun. And it was, everybody laughed. It was wonderful, only for a minute. And then that laughter becomes, it echoes, it's so empty. And the smiles and the celebration becomes fruitless.
Yeah.
And then you become to the, so what happened to the good times?
Yeah.
It's like Peggy, is that all there is?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so finally, you know, the heart starts bleeding a little bit, and then your bottom starts getting worse and worse. And if you don't stop, then the bottom ends in, as it says in the book, something worse.
Something, jails, institutions, or death.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you think being a celebrity had anything to do with any of this?
Well, it got into the reputation, and that got angry because I was using, in reality, and others who were worse than me got their jobs back, and I didn't. And so the disease is very much a part of my life on a daily basis. So there's jealousies, there's low self-esteem, there's inequities in life, and there are steps to get rid of those on a daily basis. And you wake up in the morning with a very grateful, and you say your prayers, you do your meditation, and in the evening you do an inventory. So you clear the air. And the job for me, and it's working, is by each morning you give yourself to these steps. You say the prayers and stuff, and then you get quiet, and you get rid of the things that block the light that shines through all of us. I call it God's light.
You know, that jealousy thing is very interesting. That just kind of stuck out. I mean, amongst the other things you said, but comparing yourself to others, there's so much of that in our world today.
Oh my God, it's a disease. It's a social disease.
Social media disease. So how do you deal with that? Because I mean, I have that disease for sure.
Yeah, you have to find out what's the most important thing for you to stay serene, so you can do a possible job and serve others, not yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to the place where you serve others, that serves yourself.
You know, I can't help but read this quote today that I saw somewhere. It's actually in our magazine, and I have to read this quote to you. I think you're going to love it, Lou. It says, "Stop trying to get what you want. Start giving what you love to do." What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to love to do what you didn't think about was important before.
Yeah.
But I think, because I have my foundation and I'm speaking about it in and out of meetings, is, how can I put it simply? And it's in our Pledge of Allegiance, and it's in our Declaration of Independence, which we're not paying attention to. It's this one for all for one. So what you have to do is to contribute, to give away your best for the salvation of us all. And that's how you get your keys to the kingdom. And it comes back that way. Yeah. So whatever your day is for not for yourself, but for your service to others, selfless service. And that keeps us together as a people. And so whether we're in the program or not, it's the same mentality. Definitely in the program. Yeah, I think you know, serving others keeps us on our own path, and we stop getting on other people's path. Ego very quiet. Keep the ego very quiet. Yes, exactly. And you start getting these perks, it gets good to us. That's the best disease and the best addiction we can have. Our addiction to a higher power. In other words, you're not craving it. You're not trying to push for it. You're just serving it, and then and then good comes your way. It's a simple attraction. Well, you know, we need that here in this world today, in and outside of the program. A very strange thing has happened here recently, because by the time we get to the 12th step, you get keys to the kingdom and droplets and stuff. And you realize you're returning back to normal, right? Mm-hmm. The more normal you get to, you find out how abnormal society has gotten. Now
Right.
what you use, I'm back, you guys. Where are you guys going? Where are you? Now you got to fight for your normalcy.
Well, I feel like
Even
I think
governments are abnormal.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I get excited by this interview, but I think everybody needs a 12-step program.
Yes, I agree, 100%. It's something anonymous is necessary because we've been cut into factions, and each faction wants to be better than the other faction. It's self-destructive. We need to get rid of the 11th step. The 11th
Yeah,
step.
what about somebody out there that's listening that maybe is, I don't know if you can speak to this, an agnostic or an atheist, and they're just skeptical. They're always the skeptic.
Well, there's a man that I highly respect. His name is Bill Maher, M-A-H-E-R, from HBO.
Yeah.
He's very brilliant and very intelligent, but he's agnostic. He's
Yes.
And he has a little program about and he's making fun of some of these ministers and making money in the churches, all that kind of stuff. But he forgets that religion, our particular personal religion, deals with a higher power that we cannot figure out. I don't care how intelligent you are. So the challenge is to figure it out, to believe in a concept that we can't figure out. And that starts from the beginning of man. We can't figure out why the rain shines, why the sun shines, why it's 24.
Yeah.
But we have blind faith that it works on a daily basis. And when it happens, we have to pay attention to it. It can't be cut into pieces. We have to believe something we can't figure out. I don't care how smart you are. And once you get to that place, you get peace.
Yeah.
You figure out anything else, but you can't figure that one out.
I love that. It's like there's something beyond the invisible line. There's something beyond the invisible line that we don't know.
Man needs it. Man needs it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. And religion really isn't about a minister or a rabbi. It's about something we don't know.
A belief system. It's
Yeah.
a belief system. We do need that belief system in this world because we're getting ready to destroy one another.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's man-made, and that's not what we believe. We can't live on man-made stuff.
No, and the more we believe, the more we have faith, the more good that will come to us and come to the world.
Yeah, because we're getting there. What do I get out of it?
Yeah,
Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
We get the keys to the kingdom when we don't go that way.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Now, what about a young person today, kind of exploring with, you can't have an interview without talking about the opiate addiction, of course, other addictions, but what would you say to that young person who's sort of recreational, playing around and doesn't think he has a problem and, feels like he needs to fit in? What would you say to that young person?
Well, I could tell all young people, you really are desperately needed for our mutual salvation of the planet. And opiate addiction is a deterrent to that necessity that you need to be clean and clear in order to help others to survive other things other than opiate addiction. Opiate addiction is a symbol that you don't know who you are. You're trying to find the keys to the kingdom, and there's always a brick wall there.
Yeah.
I spoke at a thing in Atlanta, and I don't know what I was saying, like I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And there was a gangbanger there. He looked very tough, and I thought he was getting ready to do some violence to me. And he got closer, and he was in tears. He said, "You made me throw my gun away." I came in here, very defendant and looking and shooting and stuff. I don't know what I said.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You made me throw my gun away. Thank you.
Wow.
It's not me. It's
right.
the higher power I've become receptive of a message. So it has nothing to do with us getting personal credit. There's no personal credit. It's just our conduit is open, so that we're a conduit of the message.
I was just going to say, you're channeling something greater than yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And there's no fear in there.
Yeah. What about a parent? What about a parent who might be really heartbroken or a partner where they can't get their loved one sober? And, where does the enabling stop? Where does the supporting the recovery begin? What do you say to that heartbroken person?
Well, that's the other side of us. It's a tough one because it depends on the individual, the problem in the individual. They know the individual better than we do. So they have to be patient, they have to be strong, and they have to try and lead them so that they have no recourse but to wind up in a meeting or die.
Yeah, and also I guess
that's the bottom. That's the worst.
And to remember that they have their higher power too.
Yeah. With higher power, you get that higher power eventually. If you are sensitive to a higher power to begin with, you find that higher power, but you have to be willing, magic word, just know that you're doing wrong, and this is the only way to get out.
Well, when I think of a family member, you know, their disease is the obsession of the family member they're trying to get sober. Yeah. So it's sort of like they need to release that obsession to have access to their higher power.
Yeah, Al-Anon helps a great deal. Very painful, very difficult thing for loved ones to do.
Yeah.
Very
yes, been there, done that. So tell me more about what you're working on. You know, I would love for you to just have this forum to talk about anything and everything that we can do to support you, Lou, and your...
Well, my foundation is number one. It's called E-Racism. Speaks for itself. The disease or dis-ease of racism. The automatic assumption that one race, people, or thing is superior to another is a misnomer. Our number one job, even now, even though we don't realize it, is the preservation of the planet. We're supposed to be the superior beings. And what we're supposed to be doing on a daily basis, just like they did in the old civilizations, is make sure that the food we eat is clean and clear. Make sure that the water in the oceans and the rivers are clean and clear so that the fish are healthy. Make sure that the food chain we eat has no chemicals in them and they survive so that when we interface with them, there is a natural rhythm. So a lot of people are vegan, I understand it, but our job is to keep all of that clean and clear on a daily basis and be sensitive to it as the most intelligent species in the world. If we're not doing that, then we all may as well be in a 747 airplane. It's about to crash, and if people inside are fighting over who's going to be in first class.
So how can people find your foundation to be a part of this movement?
Well, I'm moving from California to Georgia, and some people were kind of unsympathetic to the foundation. So now I have to pay my tax to the people in California and bring it up to date in its proper form. But in my heart and bone, it's still there. So there's a lot of attention to it. So when it resurfaces properly, you won't be able not to hear about it because it's going to be global. It's tripled in size and in love. So I'm just getting the logistics taken care of in California and picking it up in Georgia.
Okay, so there's no like website yet or anything like that?
Yeah, look at eracismfoundation.org.
Okay, perfect. So
the bottom line is that eracism, the word racism with an E in front of it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm glad that we can put that out there for people to check out. And thanks for your transparency about everything.
Oh, not to worry. It's free. It's free. It's nice to be see-through.
Is there anything else you would like to share before we close? I just want to thank you so much, Lou. You're just great.
To young people, there's no such thing as impossible. And if you start and you shoot for a 10 and you get a 5, don't be disappointed because that's 5 more than you had when you started.
I like that. That's a good one. Look at that great smile. Okay. Thank you, Lou. Thank you again. And when it comes out, I'll let your publicist know, and you can tell the world about your cover.
That's see-through, completely see-through.
Okay. All right. Have a good day. Bye.
Keep coming back.
Bye.
Bye.